So, here's the thing with the first 3 chapters of this book. They're Mona Lisa, but they're paint by numbers.
Nothing actually happens.
So...
Y'all came here expecting a skit.
And that sucks for you.
Nothing actually happens.
Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And this is exhausting.
We are back again with year 3 of Adrian Reads Harry Potter. See, it's only taken like a month or 2 at that, and you thought this would never end.
It doesn't feel like it's going.
But we are finally here with Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yes, these Azkabans.
Azkabans. Now, before we start, I would like to point out, since you don't get to read the comments, a lot of people are excited that you read this one. This is like everybody's favorite for some reason.
Really?
So, I'm hoping that you enjoyed the first 3 chapters, and you're ready to gush about them, how this has changed your life, and J.K. Rowling's a wonderful writer.
This was utter torture.
Okay.
I understand that that repetition is key for children's learning. It's reinforcement, right? It reminds them, right? The last book was 400 some pages, I believe, 417 if I'm not mistaken. So even if you're reading this back to back to a child, could probably use some refreshers in there, right?
Yes.
I don't need it.
Okay.
Right? That might not be a fair criticism.
I don't think so.
But since we are talking about it this way, this feels like torture.
Okay.
Baby. This is like for me running on a treadmill. You keep going,
But you ain't getting anywhere.
not getting anywhere.
All right.
And tomorrow you're gonna come back,
Still
and
gonna
that
be
same
there.
mile is gonna be in that same place, and you're just gonna keep going.
Let's do a quick breakdown of what we read.
Okay.
First chapter, Outpost, we get the typical J.K. Rowling review.
Okay.
And things are starting to look better for Harry Potter. He's allowed to keep Hedwig in his room. He's managed to get a hold of a couple of his books, so he's studying. He's getting letters from Ron. He got a phone call from Ron. Things are looking better. Chapter 2, Aunt Margie's big mistake. I think they call her Marge. I don't know if I wrote it wrong. Anyway, we get to meet Marge Dursley, who is Harry Potter's aunt, who is possibly worse than Vernon, and that goes horribly. We get our first mention of the village of Hogsmeade and how Harry Potter as a 3rd year is allowed to go there if he gets the Dursleys' permission. And at the end, Harry Potter casts a spell on Marge, unintentionally, and basically turns her into a balloon. And Chapter 3, Night Bus. We get Harry Potter summoning and riding the Night Bus, which is used as a form of transportation for witches and wizards in trouble. And Harry Potter makes it to Diagon Alley, where he meets Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic, who is suspiciously nice to Harry Potter because apparently the government is looking out for Harry now. So.
But we don't get that immediately.
Don't get it immediately.
We don't. That's not told to us.
I think it's very much implied, though.
Right, no, it is. But I think it's necessary to point that out that if you are reading this to a child, that is perhaps one of the moments where you bring a question into play.
Okay.
An extra textual question.
And the big event through all 3 of these chapters in the Muggle world and the Wizarding world is the crazed lunatic Sirius Black has escaped from prison and is on the loose. So, where would you like to start, Adrian? This is your shebang here. I'm here to answer your questions and prod you.
I want you to tell me something.
Okay.
Which apparently the Twitter world hates me for putting you on the spot.
Yes, they do. I'm the victim.
So I'm going to catch flack for this, but why is this people's favorite?
I don't know. That's
not a good answer.
When I read Harry Potter for the first time, I was very young when these came out, and I knew that a lot of people were reading them, so I went to the Walmart, and there's all the Harry Potter books, and I picked this one out. Did not realize it was the 3rd book, and this is the first book that I ever actually read. So for me,
but
I guess...
you still get the whole story.
You do get the whole story, yeah. You get the recap. And as a young reader, I didn't have an issue picking this one up and going with it. There were some things you missed, but you could run with it.
Right.
So for me, that's why this one's important. It was the first one I read through.
But why is this people's favorite?
There's a lot...
Hold on. Let's backtrack a little bit in your answer, though, as well. You said we bring up this idea of the author keeps refreshing us.
Yes.
And this might not be children's literature at this point. This might be middle grade literature.
Maybe so.
Middle grade maybe doesn't need that refresher.
Okay.
But this was the series that kicked off series, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And it is the first, second, and third book. Yes, extremely popular, but that wasn't... She was just a writer. She was an author. She's putting out these books about wizards. It was after this book that the boom happened.
Yeah.
And you get the 1,200-page books, and people lining up at midnight for the releases, and the big stuff. Now, this one is, in my opinion, the first time we see true danger with Harry Potter. The first time that Harry Potter is going to suffer. He is not going to be just the sympathetic character anymore. There's a lot of growth that we see from the characters in this piece. I think this is the first one where things start shaping up to form the series.
When did the first movie drop? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Was it 2001? Because this was published in 99, it looks like.
Maybe it was early 2000s?
Early 2000s? Okay.
Possibly so.
But I don't think it was in the 90s.
I'd say no.
Okay. So that was not the cause for the boom. The boom caused the movies to happen.
Oh, yes. It was after this one that the next book you'll get, Goblet of Fire. That was the first major, midnight release party where the kids stayed out late and they stood in line for hours to get the next Harry Potter book to find out what was going to happen next.
Were you one of these kids?
Okay, so no.
How old were you?
We said 1999 when this came out.
So we're talking probably 2000, 2001?
I would have been 11 in 2001. I remember...
Tell me how you feel about your childhood.
This is getting creepy. The last book I actually special ordered, and I think it was the last book, maybe it was the 6th, one of them.
You were in high school by that time, yes?
I would imagine so. I don't remember. But I special ordered it, and they sent you this a wizarding parchment scroll thing. And I assumed since I special ordered it, it would just be on my doorstep the day of the release, and it never showed up. And I was furious because everybody else was reading Harry Potter and I couldn't. So
this sense of resentment that maybe built up from that.
Yes, the psychological breakdown of Dalton Gentry.
Did you hold it against your father?
The death of Dalton Gentry. Anyway, this was a big deal. Huge deal. There's going to be a midnight release for this next book coming out. We're going.
There's more?
We're going. There is a spin-off, and we will be at the midnight release.
I will be recording you.
We will be in costume.
I will not be in costume.
You will be in costume, and we are going to have the Harry Potter experience that you never had as a child.
You will be Dobby.
I'm okay with that.
I will let you carry around a dirty sock of mine.
Yes, and you can be, what's his face? Malfoy. I'm okay with that.
I picture Malfoy as Eddie Munster. Is that accurate?
Actually, yeah. Disturbingly so. So good on you. I'm concerned that you pegged that, especially if we're talking movie characters.
Really? In the movie, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, we will be at that midnight release. We're going to make that happen, and it's going to be a grand time. I'm hoping we can slip in some filming there.
Where's it going to be? Where would they have one?
Barnes & Noble. Every bookstore nationwide will have a midnight release party for that book. And it will be wall to wall.
I want you to know...
Shoulder to shoulder.
That if
Adrian's hell.
If reading this is putting a strain on the faux Adrian-Dalton relationship, we might not survive that.
I will go dressed as Hermione Granger, if you will go with me.
Deal. It's going on the internet.
So that's happening. Anyway, let's actually talk about this book now that we're however many minutes into this. How do you feel about it? Besides the recap, because we know you hated the recap.
I'm not enjoying this.
No?
This is cut and paste so far.
Yes.
This is just cut and paste. And
And you're going to get that recap in every book.
Well,
first chapter of every book, and it seems to get lesser and lesser.
Guess how the first video for every one of these books from here forth will go?
The recap.
And it will be unpleasant. And I will make you uncomfortable.
I think
So let's get into things. I'm going to cut you off again.
I'm okay with that.
I am suspicious of the story of Harry's creation.
Okay.
Simply because of how many times it's been told.
Okay.
And I think what this is me as an adult reader, as a modern reader, bringing in the methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Okay.
Right? So Harry Potter did this, and this is how it happened. So Harry Potter did this, and this is how it happened. So Harry Potter did this, and this is how it happened. Why do you have to tell me?
Okay.
That's not how it happened, is it?
We'll see.
Okay. We've mentioned parallels in the last book with It.
Yes.
Right? We read Carrie
Yes.
for the channel. Young Carrie White accidentally TKs, accidentally uses mental powers, right?
Uh-huh.
Young Harry Potter accidentally used magic.
Correct.
Carrie is kept in a closet.
Yes.
Harry Potter is kept under the stairs.
Yes.
Aunt Margaret is Carrie's mother.
Okay.
I think that, not to say that this is,
Ripped from Carrie.
right, but when you watch interviews of Stephen King, I will say this for interviews of Stephen King. Stephen King often says Stephenie Meyer is a talentless hack. But if you want to read a real story, you go pick up that Harry Potter. And you see the things that are in those pages.
Okay.
And it makes me wonder if J.K. Rowling, as the budding artist, put these references to Stephen King in her work. Once she became made, obviously there is some. It's like any other world. You're professionals in your profession. You're going to know other people that do your thing.
Correct.
I wonder if at some point these two opened up dialogue between themselves.
Cross paths.
Yeah, and it became evident between, hey, Stevie, I put some things in my books. I like those books.
All right.
Let me tout you a little bit, like.
I'm going to assume Stephen King does not talk like that, but
You've never heard Stephen King talk?
no, I haven't.
Sounds a lot like that.
Oh, fair enough.
J.K. Rowling sounds a lot like that as well.
All right, I believe you.
But just these parallels, I think that's interesting.
I think it's a big part of childhood, and you said this in the Carrie video that you grew up watching X-Men.
Yes.
So as a child, there was always that fleeting hope that, if I concentrate hard enough, I'm going to move that with my mind. I'm going to be
Right.
Professor X.
But in both of these stories, Carrie and Harry Potter, Harry White, Carrie and Harry, both of them were not trying when these magics manifested.
Correct.
Right? So it was not
Yes.
Professor X face, right? It was simply, I am running, all of a sudden I am on top of the house. It was, I think I just swallowed one of the bugs that got in here. It was Carrie making something levitate as a baby. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what it was, but this was before the incident where she rained hail down on the house.
Yes. Which is a beautiful scene, by the way.
Right.
How do you feel about the character of Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic? Because we got a glimpse of him in an earlier book, but now we've actually had a sit-down conversation with him.
Awfully sneaky, I
Okay.
think here. It's he is one of these guys, these professionals that stops at nothing to cover his own ass, right?
Okay.
He's not going to stand up for anybody, I don't think, through the entire series.
And there are some hints in every piece, especially later in this one, anti-government almost.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an overwhelming thing here. I think this one, I try to say there's a theme for every book. This one starts to touch a little bit on anti-government. This is suffering, loss, and pain.
Well, in children's lit through young adult lit, there is this question of authority, the idea of authority, and the authority being the other, the authority being the Illuminati, right? The people who run everything.
Yes.
And this comes into play when the authorities tell people that all these muggles died from a gas man explosion.
Yes.
Right?
It's the media. It's not that we don't see that.
Who is it that's planting that out there, right? It's this great, powerful other.
Okay.
The great and powerful Oz.
What about the character of Sirius Black? We don't know much about him yet, but the crazed lunatic who escaped Azkaban.
We talk a lot about race in this,
Okay.
right? We've talked about things such as slavery.
All right.
The escaped convict being named Seriously Black.
Really? You gotta draw that one.
I don't know. I don't know.
And honestly, as a reader, if that's your interpretation.
Well, how do you accidentally name a character Sirius Black? Right? Especially as a writer who we're giving as much credit here as we give Rowling.
Okay.
Rowling knows what she's doing.
Okay.
How do you name someone Sirius Black? This is a Sirius Black. And of course he's a criminal.
Okay.
Right. I'm not going to ask if the character in the movie is African American.
I'm going to rehash this argument, and we are going to look at it later.
Okay. But I think that is... I don't know what to make of it yet.
Okay. Fair enough. It is early.
It is a criminal, right? We're talking about... We've talked in Rowling's work before about stereotypes.
Yes.
We've talked about a liberal usage of stereotypes, whether that is something that she has consciously put in there or not, or whether it's just, hey, we're in the middle of hot and sticky right now,
Yeah.
right? When you get going on that keyboard, sometimes you just gotta let it fly.
Sirius Black, so far in this novel, all we know about him is he escaped from Azkaban prison. He's the first person to ever do so.
Yes.
And he was there because he murdered X amount of people and was caught just laughing maniacally.
Right.
The typical sociopath.
Psychopath, right?
Psychopath, whatever you want to call it.
Sociopaths, if I am not mistaken, Hannah, correct me if you're watching this. Psychopaths are the ones that get enjoyment from it. Sociopaths try to understand it.
Yeah.
They don't understand why there's this suffering. They don't understand. They're so far removed, right?
Now, I will say
Maybe I've got that backwards. I don't know.
I will say I'm a little
top of my head
disappointed
right now.
with the naming of Azkaban because, come on, you could have come up a little better. Because if that's not a direct just shot at Alcatraz, the unescapable prison,
Right.
come on.
Azkaban does have a very Alakazam feel, though.
It
right?
does.
It's
It
like
has that typical
Alcatraz
magic.
/ magic, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. Anything else you really want to touch on here before I just start asking random questions about things?
Yes. I have 3 things left.
You literally wrote "ass Cubans" atop the cross of your page.
You caught that.
I did.
You weren't supposed to see that. 1, owls carry... It is... The point is made not to call what the owls carry mail, right?
Okay.
They're parcels.
I think that's a very English thing, though.
Right. But it is interesting when you get into parcel tongue.
Okay.
Because what does the snake guard? The tree of knowledge.
Okay.
What do the owls bring?
Knowledge of the outside world.
What are, owls are fierce predators.
Okay.
What might an owl kill and not even think about it?
A snake.
Right.
All right.
So I think that's just something interesting thematically to play with. That is not necessarily a criticism on anything, not necessarily a major revelation.
I will let you know through the comment section that a lot of people are saying, damn you, Adrian. Dalton is a better person than you.
Right.
And you are making me think about Harry Potter in ways I've never thought about it. A lot of people are rereading things and rereading with your perspective in mind and seeing things in a new light.
I think it was obvious when we started this that I was going to ruin this.
I think people are enjoying it. That's what I'm trying to say.
But you're a better
they're-
person?
Oh yes, absolutely. That was obvious from the start.
You're nice.
And people totally say that.
You're such a nice boy.
Totally say that.
Adrian's good looking, though.
Anything else, please?
The second chapter there.
Okay.
Where Aunt Marge comes. Mm-hmm. Is that or is that not a little bit reminiscent of some Jane Austen?
Oh, I tend to block out any Jane Austen ever.
Having tea and talking about the boys,
Yeah,
right?
talking about the boys. Very prim, very proper. And what do you think about the character of Aunt Marge? I mean, obviously not a main character. She's a Dursley, so she just kind of goes by the wayside after the first chapter.
I was going to say, I imagine that she's just expendable, that she does not reappear.
But apparently it's the family trait to just hate on Harry Potter. But we do see a glimpse of humanity from Vernon Dursley. Boy, if you do well, and you make sure Marge has a good visit, I'll sign your paper for you. I'll strike a deal, strike a bargain.
Is that humanity, though?
Think about it. When you bring that form home from school saying, oh, the field trip's coming, that's that parenting skill coming out. Oh, that's fine. I'll sign your paper. Lawn looks like it needs mowed, though. Probably should get on that.
But I think that's as, if we may go back to sociopathic as your parents get, right?
Okay.
Oh, you want that, don't you? You want that good, don't you? Do this for me. Do my bidding.
This is why I don't have children. I thought that was the purpose of having children, was free labor. So let's just leave it at that.
Talking about the Dursley family, I want to get into my last big criticism here.
Okay.
So, I brought up a lot of things that, like you say, might make you examine this text in a different light. What are we sitting at?
So, we have plenty of time. Please carry on.
And we've brought up sexism. We've brought up racism. We've brought up heavy topics like slavery, which compound something like racism. In today's world, one of the big things that pops up time and again, fat shaming.
Okay.
Tell me that Dudley is not fat shamed in this.
That's...
These are not playful terms that just illustrate him as a bigger child. These are... I got to get better at this because this is so painful for me.
It's almost... I think it's trying to be played off as a term of endearment, for the lack of a better word.
No, it is not. You are making that up.
No, it's, the lovely aunt comes in and pinches your cheeks and says, oh, what a big boy you are. And...
No, I am not. No, the narration.
Oh, the narration.
The narration is talking about Dudley being fat and disgusting.
Okay.
I wish I could find the quotes.
And that's really interesting from a social outlook.
Yes.
That Rowling would be playing with that. And it's very interesting that...
Uncle Vernon clapped Dudley on his porky shoulder. Now, if you point at someone in public and you say, hey, porky, is that or is that not fat shaming?
Unless you are enjoying a fine reading of Lord of the Flies, that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, that makes you look like an asshole real fast. So why does it not in the text? Tell me straight up, is referring to someone as porky fat shaming?
It's offensive, yes. It's derogatory, yes. So I think, yeah, you're right. And, honestly, again, having read this before, that's not really something I've ever picked on. So here you go again. You're going to fuel the internet community with rage. Fat shaming in Harry Potter.
Dudley had a crisp 20-pound note clutched in his fat fist. That's not even, you're not even using flowery language to get around it. You're just straight up calling him fat.
And if you want to get even more interesting, the one weaker character in the wizarding world, the one character who is often put off as the dope, is Neville Longbottom.
Is he from your house?
He is a Gryffindor, so he is not. But he is, I believe, described as a larger character as well.
I never picked up on that.
Look at me using politically correct terms to skate your topic. I'm going to start saying person of size now.
Well, isn't it interesting?
No, I think it is very interesting that you brought it up.
No, hold on. I'm just going to illustrate this.
Okay.
And it will undoubtedly cause a firestorm that you have to put out.
And that's what we're here for.
I can't read the comment sections of the Harry Potter videos. If you did not know, those are policed by Dalton so that you don't spoil me. Though at this point, the books are all the same anyhow. In the same generation, which spawned the term social justice warrior.
Okay.
Which are people who are willing to make an argument for something that they find ill-represented, is the same generation that grew up knowing, loving, and religiously reading Harry Potter texts, which from book 1, might I add, fat shame Dudley.
Is that inherent of how they act now?
What do you mean inherent to how they act? It seems ironic, doesn't it?
It does. Is that possible the creator? I mean, are we looking at the original fat shaming here? For a generation.
But these are people who still love these books.
Yes.
Is it because they haven't reread them?
Maybe
Is it because they are reading them, rereading them with these rose-colored glasses on?
As a man who owns rose-colored glasses, when you read something, though, as a child, sometimes it sticks with you. I will go back to my knowledge of pipe cleaners as craft supplies, never realizing they were actually used to clean pipe. Maybe that just becomes so ingrained as a child that this moved on to someone's adult life.
Well, you said that you never even picked up on it, right?
No,
But
no.
when I'm reading these small quippets, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, that's in there.
You monster! How did you find? Why did you put that in there? You're right. I think that's a very interesting point. I'm afraid to see where you go from here.
Well, on the very same, on the kissing page, I believe, to the fat fist, we have the quote which makes Harry, causes an outburst. You see it all the time with dogs. If there's something wrong with the bitch, there'll be something wrong with the pup. Now, is this sexist language?
I could be very sexist language. I think it is important to note that we're getting more adult language.
Right.
I mean, whether in reference to dog breeding or not, that is considered more adult language. Very important.
Here's the thing. That quote is being used by a villain.
Yes.
So it's contemptible, but the villain is contemptible.
Yes.
The narration is not from a villain.
No.
The narration is what you were supposed to intellectually identify with,
Yes.
which is hugely fat-shaming.
So I say we should leave this to yonder community and see what they have to say. So, if you like to see Adrian destroy your childhood, please leave us a comment down below and let us know whether you think the narration endorses, is that the correct word? Endorses fat shaming?
Sure, that's the correct term.
So that will be our argument of the week, and let us know if you have anything coming from that.
Now, you said you had some questions.
No, I'm good now.
You're good. After unleashing this firestorm, you're just going to go ahead and let the rest ride.
I always have my little thoughts and topics of, because there are days where I sit down and you're just like, no. Nope. It was a book. I read words. But no, if you had a good point, I'm going to leave it to you.
Ask me one question. Just one. If you had one question that you wanted to get out of Adrian for this.
I think I've already asked them for sure.
Okay, well then ask a second one.
I've asked multiple ones that are leading you up to things. Let's talk about a little bit more of the adult language and adult themes. Do you think this is growing? Is Harry Potter growing, and is the audience growing, and is it necessary to start addressing things like that?
It's definitely getting
because
further out there.
Later in this book, we're going to get some heavy adult themes.
Really?
They're coming. Wait till those Dementors start flying in. It's getting ugly.
The thing that gets me, that I wonder about, wonder about, is how much of this is J.K. Rowling saying, okay, well, this is my third book. We're 3 years removed from book one.
I can get away with this now.
Well, how much of that is her saying, my audience is growing, they're getting older, this will not offend them, and how much of this is her saying, I write the checks around here, baby. I write the checks around.
She can write any check she wants, that's for sure.
Could she get away with dropping an F-bomb in here?
Yeah.
Because she's J.K. Rowling.
I think she could. We're going to see at the midnight release of the next Harry Potter book when we go to pick it up together, dressed in costume. And if you would like to see something like that, make sure you hit that subscribe and that like button and follow us through this lovely train wreck that is Adrian Reads Harry Potter.